It's time now to review headlines on today's newspapers with the Ombudsman of This Day and Arise Media Group and This Day Newspapers Limited Group Executive Director Kayode Komolafe. Mr. KK is here with us this morning. Good morning, Mr. KK. How are you this morning?
Steve.
Fantastic.
Good morning, Adishra.
Good morning. I'm doing it. Isn't it so lovely? A five-man panel. I love it. The man in the middle. How are you this morning?
Very well.
Fantastic.
Thanks. Are you?
All right,
well.
KK, let's go straight into it. We'll start with This Day, the review of the papers. The lead story says, new twist to PDP crisis as court orders probe of alleged forgery of election guidelines. And there are a number of riders there to strengthen the story that is focusing on the problems, the troubles with the main opposition party in Nigeria. And the riders say police quiz national officers, party staff, official printers, probe alleged insertion of fake clauses in party's election guidelines. South Zonal Executive suspends secretary. So PDP is still in the news. Its troubles are plenty. And then on the window, Governor Sani, that's Sani of Kaduna State, receives Yero, Hunkwi, and Shehu Sani, others, to APC. White Tambua says no politician with conscience will defect to the ruling party. The governor of Kaduna State is welcoming defectors from PDP to the ruling APC, but of course the former governor of Sokoto, Tambua, is saying that no politician with conscience will defect to the ruling party. And the strip under that is the story, CBN defends new policy on ATM cash withdrawals, says it's mutually beneficial to banks and customers. That story is in today's This Day. Which, of course, a lot of people have been talking about yet another, what looks like Nigerians will have to part more with money. I think 600 naira or 500 naira, at ATM withdrawals, and coupled with the idea of you can withdraw more than 20,000 or something like that.
600 naira per what transaction?
Per transaction.
Per transaction, no matter the amount of money you're
I believe
taking
so.
out.
I think that's for offside.
No,
so there's different.
100 naira for withdrawal of 20,000.
Yes.
100 naira for 20,
But
that's what I thought.
if the ATM does not belong to your bank,
Bank, yeah.
Okay.
If it belongs to your bank, you do not pay.
you don't pay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then if it's offsite, then the fees are different.
Oh,
so
when-
if it's like in a mall, an ATM like not at a bank, but in a mall or that premises, then the charge is different. That's
So what's beneficial to the customer there?
Yes, that is what attention should be paid to the CBN statement. I think it's a very plausible defense,
Okay.
in my humble view. That is balanced, both in the interest of the banks as well as in the interest of the customers. Now, part of it, on the side of the bank, is to enable them, to recover costs. Because it costs a lot to be able to keep the ATM, working, at the various locations. Because they are even contemplating even having points outside, bank premises. Then for the customers to ensure that anytime you get to any ATM machine, you're able to have cash.
You're able to have cash.
Cash,
Okay.
And that the policy still remains that if you are withdrawing with the ATM, card of the bank, of your bank.
Of your bank, yes.
You don't pay anything. It is when you are withdrawing with ATM of another bank, that you will have to pay the charges, and that is 100 naira, for 20,000.
100 naira for 20,000 withdrawal.
Yes, exactly.
And then where does the 600 naira come in?
So that is what is stated in the CBN statement.
Okay.
So the argument is that it is balanced, that is both to protect the interest of the customer as well as the...
Yeah, but what's the correlation between charging the customer more so that, and then having money at the ATM? It is the customer's money. And if it is...
You get charged to use ATMs even internationally.
Yeah.
Usually, you even see the advertisement that free withdrawals because it's an exception if you have a free withdrawal. What the banks are arguing is that to incentivize the banks to keep them running, as we know, there's no 24-hour electricity in Nigeria. This technology requires funds to keep it running. The reason why you're paying if it's not your bank is because, let's say, only Zenith Bank has cash and they're keeping it running, but everybody collects for free. That means other banks are not incentivized to have their own ATMs or provide those things for their customers, particularly off-site, right? So it's essentially like a service charge to help the ATMs stay running. I understand that the things that people are used to free withdrawals, but it's not like a hard and fast rule and it's not international best practice, I would say, that free withdrawals are everywhere.
What you're trying to say is that at the end of the day, if they're saying that it's going to help the customer, who, like, you're trying to withdraw money from there, you're taking out of your balance to run it, of course, but it's the customer that's still paying for that service. Yeah. So how does that benefit the customer? I get it, it's probably benefiting the back end to run. So there's probably a misbalance in that.
Incentivizing the banks, if we have ATMs that have cash available at all times, then we as the customers benefit.
Well, let's see if that would really happen.
People
have cash at all times. But like when you mentioned internationally, these charges that we see in our banks right now in Nigeria, we have different types of levies that we are paying. We're paying also for like withdrawal fees and things like that. There's so many fees, maintenance and all of that, and they don't charge that abroad. So there's some balance has to come in play here.
And some other people might stretch the argument to say that the governor of the central bank elsewhere do not pay outrageous amounts, allegedly to consultants.
So when that is a different story, Steve.
Yes, but it has to do with the faith. It has to do with the faith of the customer. Point, when CBN says this is why we're doing what we're doing, and it's part of the comment, that is rife on social media.
Very topical.
Absolutely, absolutely. Last but not the least is the story on the side of the main photo. Jonathan, to African leaders, tackle political instability. And of course, if you tie that to the second picture showing the president, Ashwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, at the AU summit, it makes a lot of sense.
We have a new AU chairman now.
The Djibouti foreign minister is now the new AU.
All right, Mr. KK.
Yeah, you're right. Both the second picture of the president at AU as well as the statement by former President Jonathan. Yeah, both the sources are from the AU summit in Addis. Yeah. I think the statement made by the former president is very important and is worth paying attention to. His argument is that it's about the promotion of human development. Actually, he made the statement at the launching of a report which was prepared by the AU Commission, the UNDP's facility for transition for inclusive development, as well as the Institute of Strategic Studies of South Africa. Now, the argument of the former president is that more often than not, when the question of the demography of Africa is discussed, that the youth population is, to use his words, is often seen as a demographic burden. But his proposition now is that the youth population should not be seen as a demographic burden, but rather as a generational force, which will be used for innovation, and for development. And for this to be made possible, then Africa will have to invest in skill development, digital innovation, and broadly, in education. So it's actually it's a case, for human development, which I think is a very important statement, it made at that side event at the African Competition. Yeah.
All right, should we go to this day style?
Yeah, absolutely. The cover picture there is Asukwo Ekpeyong, Service, Legacy, and Impact. Asukwo is just 38 years old. He's a distinguished senator, and he's proving that youth is no barrier to impact. He's a man of sharp intellect, refined style, and unshakable determination. He has seamlessly navigated the worlds of business, governance, and public service, emerging as one of Nigeria's most promising political figures. That is the editor's note there. I mean, Asukwo was one of our recipients for the Young Global Leaders Award. You know how I get excited when I see men on the cover of This Day Style, and also given the fact that he is young and, like the editor said, promising. Congratulations, good read.
To him.
All right.
That's a good one. It's not every time that we see Bevy
You see?
on the cover of Style.
All right. Can anybody
just
else?
as a backdrop,
go ahead.
because before we went on
On whose topic?
Yes, on the topic, yeah. This was, and I was, talking about the age.
Yes.
I think yes, is young.
Yes.
But it's not the youngest senator Nigeria has ever produced. I think that one goes to Senator Lee Emoke, the former governor of Cross River State.
that is correct.
I think way back during the Babangida transition, he became a senator, I think at the age of 30.
Yes.
So I'm just saying that, Emoke was 8 years younger. Emoke was 8 years younger than Ekweyon when he was senator.
All right.
Yes.
More than 30 years ago.
Right.
So that
So
we don't
will he
make
now
a
be the
fetish.
second
So that we don't make
youngest?
a fetish of age.
He's also not the second youngest. But there's
I'm not saying he's second youngest here, but I'm just saying
there's a
that-
conversation about, a very young president, because he was also in Lee Aliboke's class. Former Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu was also
he was a
in
young senator as well.
Yeah.
Well, maybe we'll have Adeswa in the house very soon. Right, Adeswa? I'm charging you.
Because of time, let's quickly look at the cover of Tribune and Punch because of the importance of the two stories. Tribune is leading with more encomiums for Ayo Adebanjo, and it says it was paragon of friendship towards Igbo, quoting the Ohanese. And there's a tribute there, in addition to that, exit of Mr. Federation. That's the lead for today's Tribune. And for Punch, it says North divided over Tinubu re-election as leaders take sides. Core Northerners rally against President, hint at new movement. Minority groups back Tinubu. That's the cover of the Punch. If a few words.
Yes, a few words, and that would be an opportunity to pay tribute to Ayo Adebanjo. I think one point which in most of the tributes that have been put is actually missing is that, yes, in his later life, Afenifere shifting, champion the interests of his ethnic group. But more than that, there's one lesson about the life and times of Ayo Adebanjo. It's one politician that has never, that did not hold any public office. He was never president, he was never senator, he was never assembly person, he was never governor, he was never councillor, but consistency. So that, that his life, was defined by consistency and commitment to principle. Yeah. So since his younger days, way back in 1954, when he was appointed as the organizing secretary of Action Group, his political position has remained consistent, Not just in later life, now people know him as a fighter for federalism, but more than that was the fact that he is a strong force for progressive politics in Nigeria. And for that purpose, he had actually suffered enough. He was one of those people charged along with Awolowo during the treasonable felony. While Awolowo was accused number 30, he was accused number 27, and in the process he had to go on exile along with the late S.G. Koko to Ghana. And on return, even the military government that are taking over government in 1966 put them in detention, and he and S.G. Koko were not released until late 1967. Wow. It was the detention, and what the family with 2 young children there, and the wife, I had to suffer. So he had actually paid, a price, for his courage of conviction, for his consistency and commitment to progressive politics. So I just want to say that the essential Ayo Adebanjo was more than just fighting for federalism or advocating, for the interest of the Yoruba. It was actually a great, political figure that you don't have to hold a political office for you to be politically relevant.
To be relevant till the very end.
It's a lesson for people to know that once you lose the battle to collect, to have the ticket of a party to contest election, you move from that party, you go to another party, you renounce it. And if you get to the party, even after getting the party, you can then decamp again and go to another party that you cannot fix them.
Okay, you're talking generally or specifically?
You said?
I say you're talking generally.
I'm talking generally that politicians need to learn something about the life of Ayo.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
I mean, consistency is what defined his political life.
One more paper? One more paper, can we?
No, we've run out of time.
Oh, we have run out of time. I thought we had a little more time. No. Okay, all right then.
We have to go to the BAFTAs.
We have to go to the BAFTAs. Well, Mr. Keke, it's always a pleasure to have you here on the program. We hope to see you on Sunday next week. Thank you so much indeed.